Hey everybody, JC here with another TNI toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice 112 Collective Batman figure from Mezco Toyz. Now this figure comes packaged in a box. You've got on the front the Batman vs. Superman logo. Down below you have the name of the character and the 112 Collective logo. On the side, you again just have the Batman vs. Superman logo. And then on the back, it shows you images of the figure with the various accessories and everything that come with it. Now, like with all these 112 Collective boxes, you get the slip case. And with this one, the slip case is a clear plastic. It does have the Batman vs. Superman symbol on the front. That's part of the actual slip case. And then all the images of the figure that you see on the back is also part of that. And then for the actual box itself, on the front, it's basically just blank. Down at the bottom, you have the 112 Collective logo, and then on the back you just have an image of Batman. Now this box opens up again just like we always see with the 112 Collective. This front flap opens, it's attached with a magnet, and you can open it up and the figure's clearly displayed. On the other side you just have Batman symbol. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now before I get into this review, I just want to let you know about another video I did earlier this week. It was a video on Toys for Tots, and in that video we're also giving away a $100 store credit to Big Bad Toy Store. I'll have a link to that video in the video description below, and I highly recommend, if you haven't already, to check it out. Who knows, you could win and then you could pick up your own Batman figure here. This figure is available at Big Bad Toy Store now. So for accessories, this figure first comes with one of those 112 Collective Ziploc bags. We see this with all the 112 Collective figures. It allows you to store all the extra accessories and everything. It's just a clear bag. You've got the zip up at the top and you've got the 112 logo on the front of it. Next we get the figure slash flight stand that we see with all the 112 Collective figures. In fact, this is the exact same one that we got with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive armored Batman figure. You've got the black base with the Batman vs. Superman logo on it, and you've just got the little peg here. So you can use it just as a regular figure stand. The figures have peg holes on the bottom, and then you can just stand it there. And it works pretty good. I've had a few figures fall off these bases, but overall it works pretty well. And then you can pop this little peg off. The best way to do that is turn it around, then just use the arm of the flight stand and poke it through and just push it out from there. And then you can take the arm and just plug it in to the hole there. And then the arm's got multiple points of articulation, so you can rotate it here at the bottom, and then you can move it back and forth down here at the midsection, here up near the clamp, and then the clamp itself has got up and down movement, and then you can rotate. The clamp actually is removable. You can just slide it off, so you've got rotation. Then as an extra feature that they include with these Batman figures, they give you this extra piece that has these holes on it, and what you want to do is you just clamp it onto the thick part of the arm here. And then they give you these little bendy wire things that on one end have little plugs and the other end have little clamps, and they give you 5 of them. And what you want to do is you just plug these into the holes. And then once you have the bendy wires in, and I should note that the bendy wires are various lengths, some are longer than others, but then once you have them in, then you just clamp the ends of the cape, and then you can pose your Batman figure so it kind of looks like, you know, the cape is flowing through the air. So it's not a feature I use a whole lot, but I guess it is kind of cool that they include that. This figure comes with 4 different pairs of hands, so you get a pair of closed-fisted hands, and those are the ones that are attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging. Then you get a pair of hands that are holding Batarangs. These Batarangs are not removable. You do get separate Batarangs, but if you don't want to have to try and get your figure to hold them, they've given you a pair of hands that have the Batarang in them already. Then you get a pair of just kind of open hands, and then you get a pair of grip hands with the right hand that's got a trigger finger for the grapple gun. Switching out the hands is easy. You just pull off the hand you want to replace, and you got the little peg on the arm and the hole on the hand, and then you just plug in the hand you want to replace it with, and it should pop in there and holds nice and tight. We get 2 different head sculpts with this figure. We get the normal head, which is the one that's attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging, and then we get the second head sculpt, which has more of a Ben Affleck type expression. The mouth is open a bit and the eyes are positioned differently within the mask. I like both head sculpts, but I think it would have been cool if we had gotten an unmasked Bruce Wayne type head. Switching out the heads is easy. You just pull off the head you want to replace. It's attached with a ball joint, and then you just pop on the one that you want to replace it with, and it should fit nice and tight on there. The figure also comes with 3 different Batarangs, and these are different than the ones that are sculpted in the pair of hands I showed you before. They are done with just a metallic silver, and they're done with a pretty hard plastic, and they've got some line work sculpted in them, so I think they look pretty good, and they've got the pointed ends at the tips, so I like these overall, even though I would say maybe they come off looking a little big in the figure's hand. I don't recall them looking that big in the movie. I might be wrong on that, but otherwise I think these are pretty nice looking. He comes with a bat brand, so you can brand criminals with the bat symbol, and this is done with a metallic silver. The handle's got black on it, and looks pretty true to what we see in the movie. He comes with a gas grenade, and this is done with just a black plastic. Not a whole lot of detail on it. You can see the little ring to pull off for the grenade portion, but otherwise there's really not a whole lot of detail on this. You get Batman's grapple gun with this figure, and I like the detailing on this. I like the sculpting. Looks very true to what we see in the movie. You've got the brown handle, and then they've used a dark gun gray metal and some black for the rest of it. So again, I think the detailing on this is really nice. And then you've got this hole in the front, and they've included a separate grapple piece, so you can slide that grapple into the hole in the front. So I like that. They also give you this open grapple, which is done with a dark metallic type paint, which looks pretty good. And then you've got this string that's attached to it, and on the other end of the string is a little plug that you can use to put into the grapple gun, so you can make it look like it's shooting the grapple out of the gun. However, the plastic they used on this actual grapple is too flimsy to actually hold the weight of the figure. Also on the grapple gun, there's this little hole on the side of it, and there's this little peg on the back of Batman's utility belt, and so you can plug the gun into that and store it on the back of his belt if you want to. So for the figure itself, I think this figure comes off looking pretty good. I actually like the cloth outfit on this one. I think it looks pretty movie accurate. I like the detailing with the texturing on the cloth. I think that looks good. The detailing on the head is good, as I mentioned before. I like the ears, and then I like how you can see like the muscle tone on his neck. I think that comes off looking nice. And I like the texturing on the bat symbol, and that is a hard plastic. And he's got the utility belt with the metallic gold and some black, so I think that looks movie accurate. And then he's also got the metallic gold on his gloves and on his knuckles. And again, I like the texturing on the cloth of the gray portions of the outfit and the little line work. I think that, again, looks movie accurate. He's got the gold on the tips of his boots. And then the cape is a soft goods cape, and then the outside of the cape is kind of a shiny, looks like a shiny type material. And then you've got some, looks like dirt down here on the bottom, so I like that for added effect. And then the inside of the cape is not quite as shiny. And while the cape is quite big, I think it actually drapes on the figure quite nicely. This figure stands, if you count to the tips of his ears, about 6 3/4 inches tall. Here's a comparison with the 112 Collective Armored Batman figure, and you can see the Armored Batman figure is a bit taller than the regular Batman, as it should be. Here's a comparison with the Mafex Dawn of Justice Batman and the Mattel Multiverse Batman. Here's a comparison with the Mattel Multiverse Superman and Wonder Woman from Dawn of Justice. Here's a comparison with the Mafex Dawn of Justice Wonder Woman and Superman figures. And finally, here's a comparison with Mezco's 112 Collective Shadowland Daredevil and modern Captain America figures. For articulation, you can turn the head to the left and to the right, and he can look down pretty good, and he can look up, and you can pivot the head to the left and to the right. Arms attached with your standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder, so you can get his arm out good. You can rotate the arm, but with all these Mezco figures and the cloth outfits, that cloth does tend to get kind of twisted up, so you have to be careful with that. And then he does have a bicep swivel. I believe it's a double hinged elbow. He can bend his elbow about that much. He's got a swivel at the glove cuff, swivels at the wrist, hinges on the hand, so good up and down movement there. He's got a midsection joint, so he's got some rotation there at the midsection. You can also kind of pivot to the left and the right there. He can crunch down about that much, and he can look back about that much. He does not have a waist swivel. He can do the splits about that much. He can get his leg forward and then back, out and back. He has a thigh swivel up high, and then he's got a double jointed knee, so good bending at the knee. He's got a boot cuff swivel, hinges on the feet, so good up and down movement, rotation, and a little bit of pivot, but not too much. and 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I think this is a nice figure. In fact, I think this is probably the nicest version of the Dawn of Justice regular Batman we've gotten from any company to date. I like the build of this figure. I think it fits the Ben Affleck version of Batman nicely, more so than like the Mafex, which I think looks a little bit on the scrawny side. And just an overall look with the cloth and everything, I think works well with this character. So this figure is available now. As I mentioned before, you can get it at places like Big Bad Toy Store. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, I'll catch you later.